What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am, and today I've got a subscriber story that was sent in about a teacher that let a class have a roast battle, which sounds like it'd be a fun time, but absolutely backfired. Before we get into it, though, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam. Your teacher's going to allow you to have a roast battle, but here's the catch: you can't insult anyone back. And without further ado, let's go.
Nice racking her ass Brazilian, just turned 21, but my bank's a million.
Alright, guys, so it's been a while since I've been in school now, but I think everyone can relate to, at least I could, having like a class every year that was like the worst behaved class you were in. You know what I mean? Like the one class that the teacher kind of hated to be teaching because you guys were rambunctious for no reason. You were always just doing the opposite of whatever was asked. Everyone had that class, at least I did. And, you know, I'm not a teacher either, but I could assume it's really annoying to have like an hour a day where you just know that no matter how hard you try, no one's gonna do anything asked. Like, I'm sure that would be really, really annoying. But this subscriber sent me this story about a class that was like apparently very horribly behaved. To the point where it was pretty commonplace, like on a standard day in the class, for somebody to stand up and interrupt it to call somebody out for something, and like, you know, them to get into a giant back and forth argument with them insulting each other for like 10-15 minutes. And it's not like the teacher was just standing off to the side wanting them to argue for 20 minutes either. Like, he would try to get involved and tell them to calm down, and they would just kind of ignore him because, I don't know, they just felt like it. Like, it was just one of those classes where nothing ever went down. And that was supposed to. A lot of stuff went down, but, you know, it's always people fighting. Like, there had also been multiple fights in that classroom, like literal fist fights, because, you know, obviously when people start arguing in front of a bunch of people and they feel like, you know, their ego's getting checked or whatever, they're gonna start, like, escalating it every now and then. And it got so bad that like the teacher kind of had a method for trying to get people to calm down, and so he would just start banging his head on the whiteboard whenever he like got to the point where he was just exhausted of trying to relax everyone. And usually when he would start banging his head on the whiteboard, everybody would kind of relax a bit. And I actually had a teacher that hit his head on the whiteboard one time. I didn't realize this was a common teaching tactic they were doing in school, alright, where people are like banging their head on the whiteboard. But if you think about it, alright, you have a teacher yelling at you, stop, 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 and then all of a sudden he's no longer yelling, and you look over and he's just trying to Woody the Woodpecker his way through a whiteboard. You probably would stop what you were doing too and be like, yo, is this dude okay? This argument's important, but I don't want this guy to give himself like a stage 75 concussion because he's trying to interrupt our argument. Anyways, he just gets so fed up with these kids fighting and arguing and interrupting his class that he says that Friday they're going to have a day where they're allowed to roast each other. They're gonna have like a roast battle. And the one catch is they will have a roast battle once a month, and he will let them do it every month, but they have to behave the rest of the month. Like, the only way he's gonna give them a day to just insult each other and argue is if they, you know, make his life a little bit easier. And obviously that's a pretty easy sell to everyone in the classroom, because everyone wants a day once a month to not do anything and just like argue in class and roast each other. That sounds fantastic. And listen, obviously I'm sitting here saying I would have enjoyed back when I was in school to have a day every month to like just absolutely roast anyone I had beef with. I would have enjoyed that. That being said, I feel like as a teacher, that's a horrible idea, especially if you already can't control the class, dude. Like, I guess if they're just gonna freak out and act out anyways, you might as well try to get them to cooperate. You guys know what I'm trying to say. But at the same time, like, you can't be surprised if this roast battle gets way too out of control, spirals out of anything you can do about it. Like, if they already don't listen to you, I don't know why they would suddenly start listening to you when you gave them the green light to be as mean as possible. But whatever, he says that Friday they'll do it, and then from there they'll do it once a month, so they just have to behave for the week. And surprisingly, you know, it actually works. That week, people don't really argue as much, people are paying more attention, you know, they're actually pushing each other to like do the homework, and the teacher is hyped, you know, wow, all I have to do is let them roast each other and they're gonna listen. Fantastic. And obviously everyone's really excited for the roast battle, like every day that week at the end of class when you have that 2 minutes, you know, where you're not really doing anything. They're all talking about what they're going to say to each other, you know, and they're so excited, and this was such a cool idea as the teacher. And the teacher, whenever they start talking about this roast battle, starts to get nervous, probably because in the back of his mind he knew that like something was probably going to go wrong. But somehow the class manages to hold it together. They pull it together for a week, dude, and they've now earned their roast battle. As as the teacher promised. It's his fault for promising it. He probably didn't think they were going to be able to behave for a week, but they do. And so Thursday, when they've behaved so far and he says tomorrow they're going to do the roast battle, the class freaks out. They're like, yo, we actually did it. I didn't think we were going to do it. Even they're kind of surprised that they did it, when it's that far of a stretch. But everyone's really excited. And the next day, everybody kind of comes into the class super excited. Everyone's like, in hushed tones, like, what is the deal? What's going on? And the teacher walks in and he's acting insanely confident. Fake it till you make it. That's what they always say. Just act like you know what you're doing. And he's like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, now I've hosted a few, my fair share of roast battles in my day, like a few roast battles. So I know how this works. I'm going to lay out the rules and you guys are going to, accept them or say you don't. If you don't accept the rules, you don't get to be in the roast battle. You can't come up here, but here's the rules. And everybody's kind of like, oh man, there's going to be this long list of rules, stuff we can't say, all that stuff, which, sucks, but you kind of got to do that in school. And he kind of gets everybody to pay attention to him, and he leans down a little bit and he goes, the rule of the roast battle is there are no rules. Say whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Nothing is off limits. And the class is obviously very excited about that. They're like, yo, this is the greatest thing ever. And I'm not trying to crap on the fun here, but I feel like as a teacher, you should know once again, this is a really bad idea, dude. Like the roast battle, already not the greatest idea. I guess you gotta do what you gotta do to get people to behave so you can teach them. Fair enough, right? But then you don't go to the roast battle and say, you can say literally whatever you want, I don't care, there are no rules. Because when you tell people there's no rules when it comes to being mean, they're going to be way too mean. Like if somebody during a roast battle says some horrible stuff to me, just some horrible stuff, not even funny at all, just the meanest thing ever, I don't know how I'm gonna sit next to them for the rest of the school year and not feel awkward. You can't really do that. Obviously, though, everyone who's going to be involved in the roast battle is excited. In fact, a couple people are like, dude, I've got to change my jokes now that I can, which is never a good sign when people hear their... Anyways, okay, sorry, my dog interrupted. When they're, talking about how much meaner their jokes are going to get now, that's not a very good sign. But regardless, it kind of starts, and the first people that get up there and insulting each other aren't that mean. They're kind of like, oh, your shoes are so ugly, you might as well say that, they look like you. Just not very good. Obviously, not very many people are going to get up there in front of everybody and feel comfortable insulting someone. But then there's two kids that get up there and start roasting each other, and I don't know if the teacher was aware of this, but the entire classroom kind of goes oh, because these two kids really don't like each other. Up until that point it had been friends kind of jokingly making fun of each other, or maybe a little bit of beef over a pencil or something. But apparently these kids had already gotten in fights a couple times this year, they already were very much not big fans of each other, and by the way they were looking at each other before they were about to go in on each other, you could just tell that this was not going to end well. The teacher is just kind of oblivious to it, though. He's like, all right, this will be awesome. Look at how intense they're looking. Wow, they're really honed in. They look at how much they've been practicing, which you would think would be a red flag, right? Uh-oh, they seem like they're not joking around about this. But whatever, he decides to let it go. And the first kid goes, and he says something awful, about the other kid, along the lines of, your parents don't love you, and that's why you have to walk to school with flip-flops or something. Just really, obviously it didn't make a whole lot of sense, but just way too far, dude. You're in a roast battle in front of the classroom. Everyone's watching this, your teacher's watching this. There's no reason to be talking about why this kid's parents don't love him and how they can't buy him shoes to walk in the winter. That just seems way out of pocket. But obviously, in this situation, the teacher can't get mad. He's the one who said there's no rules. Say literally whatever you want. And the class kind of goes ooh, when he says that because, that's just too far. Except the kid who he just made fun of for walking to school in flip-flops or whatever. I still don't really get it, but whatever. The guy who he had just said his parents don't love him, he smiles when the guy says that. And I'm just saying now, if you look at somebody and go, your parents don't love you, and they start smiling when you're in an insult battle, just know chances are something's coming that's gonna just hit you in the gut. Alright guys, I'm going to interrupt the video for just 1 second. If you take a look at your screen now, you'll see a gift card code. For those of you that don't know, I give one of these away in every video I post here on this channel as a way to say thank you to y'all for subscribing and turning on those notifications. So if you haven't yet, you should. And a big thank you to everyone who's already watching with notifications on. While I've got you guys here though, you might as well go down there, press the like button, comment down below. It helps the video do better. And on that note, I'll shut up and get back to the content now. Thanks. Enjoy. Anyways, this guy's still like doing this evil smile with that insult, right? And he looks back at the other guy and he goes, yeah, you might have opinions about like, you know, how much my parents love me based on what I wear or whatever, but at least both my parents are alive. And the entire class once again gasps, but this time they gasps way louder because the subscriber didn't know this, the teacher didn't know this, but apparently that dude's mom had like passed away a few months ago. And I want to say, obviously way too far, dude. If somebody's parents passed away, you shouldn't mention it at all, and you especially shouldn't make fun of it, especially in front of a bunch of people, dude. Like, that should just kind of be off limits. I think, you know, stuff about your parents' love for you in general should be too, but making fun of people's dead parents is especially a no-no. Like, that's just way too far, right? And obviously, he says it because he wants to get under this guy's skin and piss it off. And it works. If anyone, you know, made fun of, like, my mom, if she had been passed away, I'd probably fight them too. Because he just instantly swings on this guy. And, you know, obviously violence is never the answer or whatever, but like, yeah, if someone makes fun of your dead mom, you're kind of are justified to punch them in the face. I feel like everyone can agree on that, but it was almost like what this guy wanted because it's now turning into a fight. Like, they're just swinging on each other, they've tackled each other, they're literally just beating the crap out of each other. And it all happened so fast, like the insult to the guy hitting him, like the way I described it took a minute, but this happens kind of in 15 seconds. And in that 15 seconds, everyone looks up at the teacher to kind of be like, what do we do now? You know, there's people fighting. You let this go way too far. And the teacher is just kind of sitting there frozen with his mouth wide open, just like staring at it. Probably because he's crapping himself imagining the conversation he's got to have with like his boss later. He's got to explain that, you know, no, the roast battle was my idea. I kind of said that they could get up in front of the class and basically bully each other. The principal's going to be like, why would you do that? And then on top of it, he's going to be like, well, you had rules, right? You know, there was certain stuff they weren't supposed to say. Like, obviously, this guy making fun of this dude's mom knew the rules and broke them. Well, I mean, technically I did say they're allowed to say literally whatever they want, so, you know, I never said they weren't allowed to do that. I just thought that they weren't going to, but technically there was no rules against it, and I told them they could say anything they wanted. Like, I'm sure that would make me freeze in terror too, dude. So, obviously, he finally snaps out of it. He goes over there. He breaks them up, and they finally calm them down. Like, they're still in the classroom, but they're on opposite sides of the class, and the classroom is just silent now. Once he had them separated, a couple of other dudes in the classroom came and like held them apart. He went and got on the phone and called to like get somebody down here to take them to the dean's office and handle it. And so they're kind of waiting and the class is dead silent. Nobody's saying a thing. And finally, the people who like take people to the dean's office get there, they separate them, they take them up to the office, and it's still dead silent, but everyone who had fought is still in the room. And like the teacher's at his desk and he just had his head in his hands, just kind of like disappointed. And out of nowhere, someone in the class just goes, that was awesome. And everybody just starts cheering and being like, that was awesome. Oh my gosh, did you see that? Did you see this? Oh, dude, like, yeah, da, 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 da. And listen, I just want to say I do still feel really bad for the guy who like had his mom made fun of, you know, like obviously that would insanely suck. But the classroom is treating this like they just saw an episode of Jerry Springer, you know, like you are not the father, like the level TV show. That's what they feel like they just watched. And the teacher at that point pulls his head out of his hands and is like, you guys can't talk about this with anyone. Like there's a chance I might lose my job over this. The fact that you guys think it's funny is like mind boggling because it's just not funny at all. And listen, obviously it's not funny. No one making fun of someone's dead mom is funny, but like the fact that you thought this wasn't going to get out of control and sanctioned a roast battle in the middle of your class and didn't think it was going to get out of control and turn into a fight, that's funny, not the situation itself. But yeah, when you're usually doing math and now you like were in the middle of a roast battle that turned violent, obviously the situation and the irony of it happening into a classroom is funny. But whatever, he's freaking out, and the class is just kind of sitting there silently while he's freaking out, and he finally stops yelling at them, and the class is silent again, and somebody goes, nah, it was still kind of funny. And the bell rang and everybody got up and left. And by the time they were leaving school that day, basically everybody had heard about it and was talking about it. You know, teachers were talking about how bad of an idea it was. Like, literally everyone and their mom was discussing the situation. Both of the kids got suspended, obviously. They both got suspended for the same amount of time. The person who did make fun of his dead mom did get crap from people for, like, the rest of the school year. But all things considered, it was just a story people would talk about and be like, I don't know what that guy was thinking by letting people just say whatever they wanted to each other in the classroom. That was going to backfire. I will say, dude, just leave people's family out of it. You know, if you're going to insult somebody, you're going to have beef with them. That's fair, I guess. You know, do what you got to do. But don't involve their family, especially if you know their mom's dead. Don't make fun of their mom. That's just way too far. Anyways, guys, I think that's going to do it for the video, though. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, I would really appreciate you taking a second to press the like button. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of the video, or, of course, you know, subscribe, turn on notifications. If you want to help me out a little bit more, you can check out the intro song. Link to it's down below, along with a link to my podcast, The Scuffed Cast, or you could use code SCRUBBY at the G Fuel checkout. Great way to get a discount on G Fuel. Help me out at the same time so everyone's a winner. Other than that, I did go ahead and put some of my story times up on Spotify, so that way you guys could listen to them over on there. You don't need to watch gameplay. You don't need to have YouTube Premium to listen offline, any of that stuff. So feel free to check that out. Link will be in the top of the description. But on that note, that's really going to do it. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I will see each and every single one of you guys next time with another video. I'm out. Peace.